I've been wanting to talk about Spencer Pratt for a while now because I watched the entire Joe Rogan podcast episode on the plane on the way here to where I'm at right now, and I watched Spencer Pratt back in the Hills days. I watched The Hills because I'm from Orange County and I loved all the characters, but I will be honest, I hated Spencer. I hated the way that MTV portrayed him and Heidi. It was gross, toxic. He was a villain, super villain. And for years, he's just given me the ick. Anytime I would see him on my FYP, I would just be like, ew. But then I started listening to him speak intellectually about what's going on in LA, and it made me pause because my husband and I have to go up to LA a lot for work, and we buy a lot of our product up there, and we work with different companies like sourcing merchandise for the company that we run. And every single time we go up there, we talk about how it's disgusting, it's unsafe, it looks like a post-apocalyptic horror show. And I am progressive at my roots. I have been standing out on street corners with signs. I've gone to peaceful rallies and marches. I've always voted in an empathetic way. I've always voted with love and charity as my guide. But over the years, especially the last 5 years, I've learned a lot. And I've learned that in the micro, like people that I deal with, friends, there are two ways that you can look at life and the things that life hands you. I'm not saying that I'm not privileged. I am privileged. However, I've also had really hard things happen to me, as everyone has. And I'm not going to let the hardship of life be an excuse anymore for my dysfunction. And I think you get to a point in your life where you stop blaming your parents, you stop blaming your ex, you stop blaming, the factors around you, and you start to take radical responsibility for your life in the ways that you've created things that you prefer and don't prefer in your life. I've had to do that. I've had probably more people in my life not do that. I've lost friendships and relationships because people refused to do that and wanted to be victims and wanted to blame everybody else for their problems. I haven't seen it work out well for them. The people that actually take responsibility radically for the ways that they perpetuated dysfunctional systems, the ways that they played victim, the ways that they didn't own up and take responsibility for their life and make changes, those are the ones that achieve their dreams and have the best lives. The people that do the opposite, play victim, blame everyone else, stay stuck in dysfunction, repeat dysfunction, never own up and take radical accountability for the ways they could change their lives, those are the ones that have miserable lives where they just perpetuate the same cycles over and over again. They're usually really nasty people too. So in learning that in the last 5 years and then going up to LA, what I've recognized is there's this complete overtaking of the city of homeless people and drug addicts. It's mainly drug addicts. It's not unhoused people, it's drug addicts. There is a drug problem in LA. And when you allow that to go unfettered and you give people just radical grace and no accountability, and you don't take them to task, you don't hold them to be responsible and make changes, and you just allow them to operate unfettered, and it causes chaos, dysfunction, recklessness, and it takes over the whole entire city. You're seeing what happens when we as a society allow people to just live in a victim mentality and never take responsibility and never make changes. And we not only allow it, we are enabling it. We are enabling it. The government that is up there right now is enabling that. And that's what happens. It's just complete chaos, ugliness, gross negligence, and dysfunction everywhere you look. The entire system and community has shut down up there. And every time we go up there, we're just like, this is not the LA that we remember, and this just cannot be allowed any further. Like, we need to change something. And I'm not even political anymore because I think politics on both sides has been completely overrun by special interests and greed and money. And so I don't buy into politics anymore. And if you identify with that, keep scrolling because you're on the wrong page. You're identifying with a political party. I no longer do that anymore. I'm my own person, and I make decisions and choices based on what I see, and what I'm seeing is just unchecked greed on both sides of the aisle. What's going on right now in LA needs an outside voice. It needs somebody like Spencer Pratt, who doesn't identify, doesn't have affiliations with either side. It's not an ego game for him. It's not a money grab. He's up there wanting to make changes and running for mayor because he was hurt by what happened. His house burned down. He saw the abject dysfunction and greed and said, enough. Somebody needs to come in here and hold these people accountable. We need to clean up the city. We need to remove drug addicts from the streets. And either they can choose to clean themselves up, or they can go to prison, or they can leave our state. But we're no longer going to be enabling this dysfunction, reckless behavior. Goodbye. And it's giving them the choice, doing it in a way that is empathetic, but we are not enabling anymore. We are not going to live in the chaos and the ugliness of somebody's refusal to look at themselves and in their victim mentality, creating recklessness all around them. We're not doing that as a society anymore. We're holding people accountable. We're going to do it in a kind way, but we're holding people accountable. That's what Spencer Pratt is saying, and I'm 110% behind him. Everything he says makes sense. I think he's going to win as mayor, and I think hopefully he can stay unchecked and uninfluenced by the politics that seem to be everywhere of greed and ego, and he can stay out of that game and he can remain like a citizen that's just trying to do the right thing. But I think what's happening in LA is showing us what happens when we allow people to just be in a victim mentality, take zero responsibility over their life, and just enable their behavior because we feel bad for them.